So we kind of missed a little bit. I just started the recording. So anyway, when we're in this sea of energy, but we're part of it, but yet we can move it, and from it we can create anything that we desire. It's not a maybe, it's not an if, it's a when. In this vast ocean of pure cosmic energy, pure consciousness. Now, how do you think things are created? In pure cosmic energy, pure consciousness, the consciousness uses the energy to create. That's what we do. We are conscious, pure consciousness in these bodies. You could call it God, spirit, soul, whatever you want to call it or label it. It still boils down to pure consciousness. And so the pure consciousness, which is part of the energy, has a level of consciousness where it can direct the energy and form it into anything. It chooses planets, solar systems, galaxies, connecting universes, multiverse. I mean, it goes on forever. There has to be a pure consciousness awareness, which we are, which all species are. And some of them are not conscious yet, right? Some are. We are a conscious species. We became conscious, a little over 3,000 years ago. And the consciousness that we are, the majority of us still don't know it. Isn't that interesting? We're all conscious beings, but most of us don't know it. This is why when you're told to do something, and you do it, you really don't question it. You're told to do it, and you do it. It's like when we had the vaccinations in full force, you were told to take the vaccinations because it was good for you. And you did, without question. And that's bicameral. But then there are those of us who are aware that we're conscious, and we think for ourselves, we make decisions for ourselves, and we govern ourselves. Okay? And that's different because we're guiding ourselves through the pure consciousness, heart-mindedness. We're mastering the ego mind, and we're mastering our thoughts. Why would we want to do that? Makes full sense, doesn't it? If you're going to be manifesting whatever you choose you want to manifest, you make sure that you're in the heart mind, not the ego mind. We know what happens in the ego mind. We all do. We know that within the ego mind, we'll get carried away. We become a lot, not everybody, but the majority says, well, I'm better than you because I have this, this, and this, all these material things. And you're small and you're unimportant type thing. And that's all ego-mindedness, and we've seen that in a positive way. We've experienced it on this planet for many lifetimes. And the good thing about that is that we've discovered that, and we can identify that we know that. And many of us, all of us, have lived many different lifetimes in different circumstances, and we've experienced so many different things. And now we're coming full circle to realize that now it's time. Okay, so ego mind has taught us a heck of a lot. And we're deeply grateful for the ego mind teaching us many things. So we take the things that the ego mind has afforded us to experience, right? And then we understand that we move our vibrational frequencies higher. And the only way we do that is through the heart mind And we do it in meditation. We let go of things. We surrender things. I'm not saying that's easy for many, because we're so used to doing it for so many lifetimes. But when you let go, you're freed. You don't feel heavy, burden. In other words, you enjoy things, but if they're gone tomorrow, that's okay. It's not a big deal. Okay? Now the touchy part of it is that, let's say it's in a flesh and blood relationship where you're courting someone or you're interacting and romantically, a lot of things involved, and you're with that, and then they're gone. Okay. And a lot of times people are devastated because of that separation. But when you're with somebody, it's temporary. See, that's a toughie for us because we're in these emotional bodies. This is a toughie because we look at the fact of saying, well, they're no longer here. They've left the body. And you miss them because of the physical material. But the funny thing is that we're all one anyway. We never leave anything. We leave the body, right? And we know everything that we've set up on this planet is temporary, exclusively for us to experience, period, and to learn how to enjoy our lives rather than fight our lives. And these are all lessons for us. And they come in front of us on occasion, more than once, and things are presented to us. And sometimes we say, well, I'm going to take a stronger look at that, right? And then when we do that, we start to discover things, like going down the rabbit hole. And we discover more things. And things start falling into place. It's like snapping puzzles into place to make a big picture. And you look and you say, this is very surreal. And then you begin to realize that you have never been the slave. You have always been the master. But one day, the master went and took a nap and hasn't woken up for a very long time. And while the master's been sleeping, the ego mind's been running the show. Okay? And so, what is this all about? The master is awakening. The master within each and every one of us. We're beginning to embrace things knowing that and through heart-mindedness, not ego-mind, but we're at the helm. We're steering the ship. Wherever we steer it is where it's going to go. Sometimes hard to steer because of the storm. Have you ever tried to steer a vessel in heavy seas or water? Not easy, right? So, but we are the master and commander, and we're steering everything in our lives. We're steering our lives. We're steering our destiny. We're steering all of it. Yet, you know what I mean? When if you take a nap or you're in the morning, you go to sleep, you wake up. Sometimes you're not. You're moving around, you're doing things, and you do some crazy things, and you go, I'm still not awake. You ever done that? Because normally when you're fully awake, you wouldn't do that, but you do things that you go, I'm not awake yet. I'm not totally awake. Which isn't a negative. It's just that you discover that. Even though your eyes are open, you're moving around, everything. Sometimes this happens because you identify the fact that, well, I'm still not totally awake yet. So when you look at this vast, massive ocean of pure energy that we all make it up, every species and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond and forever, make up all this. We have the power within us to manifest anything we choose, knowingly, not not unknowingly, whenever. And you know what? It doesn't matter how big it is or how impactful. It doesn't matter. You wield that power 24/7. And here's here's the hairy part of it, is that it's a fine line, because we're in the process of mastering our ego mind. So the ego mind is clear and present, right? So it will intervene. It will interrupt things. It's relentless, and all it's looking for is peace. Isn't that interesting, right? So you got to be aware of that. You got to be aware that the ego mind, choose to be aware, is there. It's not going away because you haven't mastered it. So you create things. That's why you do it through the heart mind. See, the heart mind will eventually, the more time you spend in the heart mind, it will eventually start to manage the ego mind. And through the heart mind, you will master the ego mind. That's why it's there. You will master the ego mind through the heart mind. You're not going to master it any way else. Because in the heart mind, you're in the now. In the ego mind, you're in yesterday and tomorrow, which the majority of people on this planet in this very now moment are in yesterday and tomorrow. Okay? And in yesterday and tomorrow, which we all go there, none of us are exempt, we suffer. Why? Well, we worry about this, and we're concerned about this, and then we carry guilt factors from yesterday, and then we're projecting tomorrow, and tomorrow hasn't even come. So everything that we're doing in the ego mind, except being in the present moment, being in the now. And that's the only reason that any of us suffer, is we're in yesterday and tomorrow. We're with the ego mind. In the heart mind, the worry doesn't exist. In the heart mind, stress doesn't exist. See, a meditation is multifaceted in a simplistic way, because why? Well, you relax into your body. That's the only way the body's going to relax. You can feel it. When you're in meditation, these meditations, and you find a comfortable position, you make sure that you don't have any outside distractions, noise, dogs barking, whatever. And if you do, just put earplugs and an eye mask on. But you get in a comfortable position and you begin to relax into the body. And as you relax into the body, all you're focused on is your breath rising and falling. Some people focus on the space between heartbeats. Some people focus on your breath rising and falling. It's just your choice. And you stay there. And you just be. Now, we've all been taught, well, you can't just sit around do nothing. Right? What are you doing? Meditating. Oh, that's a waste of time. You don't get anything done. You're just sitting there. That's all a bunch of hooey. But it isn't. What does it do for us? It moves us into a focus of bliss. When you're in the now, you don't have all that stuff with the ego mind. It's not there. It doesn't exist. Can't exist. And this is when you start to say, oh, I'm going to watch the ego mind so I can learn from it. I watch it to see what it does, how it does things. It's the only way to master it. And then your thoughts. In the now, you're not really thinking about anything. You're just being. It's a real nice break from the ego mind. And then you start to witness, observe, watch. And this is how you identify things during the course of your day or evening or night, where you identify. You say, wait, that's an ego mind thought. I know that because I've had them many times before. I don't care to engage it, so I'm going to let it go. And it'll disappear. You can have hundreds or thousands of those. But see, you begin to identify them. You know, you're beginning to know. It's like you get upset about something, right? And then but most of us will just go with it and get upset and bent out of shape and everything. But then there's others of us that will catch ourselves because of previous experiences that we've had. We'll say, I don't care to go there with that. I'm not going there with that. You know why? Because you know what you're going to experience in a certain way of frustration, anger. And so you say, why would I don't care to do that anymore. I'm not going to do that. See, it's all about us becoming aware of who and what we are, and we're in these emotional bodies, and we know that. And the combination, once we get it, see, and once we form it the way we want it, then life becomes a peaceful, blissful experience. Quite a bit to learn. But man, oh man, isn't it? It's just wonderful. It's magna glorious that we can do this knowingly. Imagine that you have a thought, right? Your thought that you generate. And you see this vast ocean of pure cosmic energy. It's a playground for all of us. And then we can create anything that we choose. There are no limitations. There were never limitations for any of us. But when we don't have information coming in, right, that is different than the information we're being programmed on. So you have another set of programs over here that never reach us. So we follow the same over and over and over again, which are what? Well, you're told certain things, you learn certain things, you follow certain things in this life, and you practice them. You repeat them. This is why we have over 60,000 religions on this planet. I mean, it's absolutely way out there. But you begin to remember that you are a universal consciousness in that body. All of us are. And we're all part of the one. There's no separation. We do the separation, of course, because it affords us, each of us, to have different experiences. Each part of the one. Okay? Of the one means all consciousness. Wherever it's housed, whatever it chooses to experience, all of it, everywhere. And all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. So you see, where we're going, by choice, is that eventually we will be able to plug into that 24/7. All the knowledge, all the experiences, all of it. Whenever we choose. All the sages, all the philosophers, all of it. We'll be able to travel anywhere, anytime, any place at a blink of the eye. See, this is when the power that we are is fully realized. Okay? We're not there by far yet. But you can see the transition. And the transition is absolutely spectacular. How could we ever become bored with life? Right? Just existing, just being in physical material form is spectacular. You don't have to do anything or I got to accomplish this and I do this. That's all ego mind. All of it is. Look what I did. And as we move forward, we discover more and more of it. And we begin to gravitate towards it. But just imagine that. Every one of us has that power within these bodies to direct, command, create, form, experience, whenever. Now see, what happens? We become too immersed in the material physical world. Not hard to do, because there's so many exciting enticements every single moment that draw our attention. And we're all there. We're none of us are exempt from that either. But we begin to recognize it, become aware of it. We start saying, you know what, without guilt, okay, you see, it's time for me to start spending a lot more time within. So I can, we all pretty much, give or take, know this. We know the one aspect of this material physical world, right? And we've looked at all sides of it and experienced a lot within it. And now we're shifting into, it's time to go within and finally discover who and what we really are in these bodies. Since the body is temporary and everything around us is temporary, doesn't it make sense that we find out really, truly who and what we are? And we practice this through the heart-mind. And as we begin to discover who and what we are, we shift. We start going more within. We stop being judgmental on ourselves and things and others around us. And we become much nicer, loving, and caring of ourselves. And we establish a much more deep, eternal, loving relationship with ourselves. And this is all, you're increasing your vibrational frequency. Which then moves you higher, and all along, you're doing it, the God that you are, all along. And the phenomenal thing is that the universe is your mightiest, bestest friend, always and forever. It is very true. Now, some of us may say, "Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Why would a true friend allow me to go into poverty?" Right? Well, it didn't. It kept trying. It did everything it can to make sure you didn't go there. But you were hell-bent on going there because you were not aware that all these thoughts that were coming in through the ego mind, all that mind chatter and all those thoughts, you were picking them up and using them as your own, and you were creating more of what you did not care to experience or have. It's kind of like this. You're in a wilderness, right? And there's a group of us, and we're only given a couple of things. And we've got like 6 weeks to stay in the wilderness. It's out there, okay? Now, the first thing that we figure out is that, okay, need shelter, need water, right? And need a way to source food. Remember, you don't have a grocery store. You've never hunted in anything like that. But those are the three things. You've got shelter, right? Water and food. That's it. Those are the mainstays. And you got to figure out a way through your creativity to have those three things. Like catching water off of a leaf when it's raining and drinking it. Because we have to have water. Now, those who remain still or within themselves do well. But those that panic don't do well at all. And that's kind of like what we're in right now. There are those who panic and run into the ego mind for support, and then there are those that are very calm and embrace the now. You see how important that is? Because if you're in yesterday and tomorrow, and you're in a life-threatening situation, and you panic, you're pretty much toast. You're done. And this is how you balance yourself. You stay through the heart-mind, and you stay in the now. So with all of this craziness happening, you're not really affected at all, because you have this connection with the universe that's always there, doing everything it can to help you, assist you, give you what you want. And see, once we go into that, which a lot of us are doing that by choice, everything shifts. You start attracting higher vibrational frequencies in people, right? And you're shown people that teach you things that you know that you won't be around those people, okay? So it comes from both directions. Some people will come into your life and teach you something, and it may not be a pleasant teaching, but they taught you something. And as we all know, we're all teachers and students with each other. We're always. That is an absolute. And when we start looking at people from the perspective of what are they teaching me, right? Instead of, oh, they're this and they're that, you stop and you say, wait a minute, I'm going to shift gears here. They're in my life for a reason. What are they teaching me? So you pay much more attention to that rather than, it's like, you remember when you were a kid and you're looking at the clock waiting for recess? Some of us did that because we were so darn bored to tears in school, in the classroom. So the clock was on the wall, and, recess, right? Or is the end of the day going home? And there's a recess, and you go, oh, we get to go out to recess. You don't have to do this. Well, it's not much different. We get distracted, and we're looking at having recess rather than figuring out who and what we are. And the recess is motivation through the ego mind, the material physical world. We enjoy the material physical world. All of us do. We've all done it many times. Had fun, laughed, joked, made love, had sex. I mean, all of it. And it's fun. And it's very enticing. But when you start figuring from the heart-mind and you discover who and what you are, it's like 1,000 times more than that in a very uplifting, blissful, joyous, peaceful way. And during the quiet time of this meditation, the more we become aware of who and what we are, the more you will realize and recognize that anything you ask for will be yours. Through the heart-mind. This is a huge discovery. This is without doubt, without fear, without questioning yourself. It's just fluid. You know. You just know. You just know. That's it. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Focus on your breath rising and falling and relaxed into the body. What would it feel like to trust life more deeply than ever before? You can let go of the steering wheel. Imagine the comfort of knowing that divine intelligence is your personal chauffeur, guiding you effortlessly through every twist and turn. It's actually true. You are always being gently steered down the perfect road, whether your mind realizes this or is still complaining about it. Your only task in this life is to listen to that quiet inner compass. It's the voice that already knows the way your heart is destined to travel. And that tight, white-knuckled grip your ego has had on the steering wheel of your life will naturally loosen as you surrender your control habit to deeper feelings of trust. Only through a deep surrendered trust can you experience cruising down life's highway with effortless ease. Trust in this process of letting go of your steering wheel. You do not have to control anything except learning how to respond to people with kindness, patience, and compassion. Learn this and become incredibly liberated. And the more you can relax this white-knuckled grip on your life, the more you'll be able to enjoy these final sunrises and sunsets coming up ahead in your future. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, the following morning. We'll return here Wednesday, October 23, 2024, to continue our Global Guided Meditation call. And Wednesday night, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our Time for Change call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on outside of you or inside of you, open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.